Yeah, thank you very much. I think we are delayed, but we also started later. But I still would like to give you the chance to ask some questions to our speakers. Yes, please. Could you please come here? We can, for the recording. Ah, you have the question from Zoom. That's great. Yes. Yeah. So the question to Odette was Odette. So are there cases of actual help to Armenia people?
Okay. So basically what's happening in Armenia, and thank you for the question, I think it's a very good case, is that there's entrance of missionaries from the beginning of the 19th century. Of course, Armenia is only a geographical expression. There's no Armenia. There's historical Armenia, which is a very historical place, ancient place, but there's no Armenia. So we're talking about 6 vilayets within the, what we can call Eastern Anatolia, the regions of Van and so on. But there is on the ground sort of humanitarian aid given by missionaries, especially, by the way, Americans. Now, I didn't have the time to explore all the cases, but by the way, what I just found recently is that Jews, also American Jews, helped or aided Armenians also at the same time. So basically, and that's just something I need to explore, but I think it's a very interesting case. But basically, it's mainly missionaries, mainly Americans, and also, by the way, Germans and English. And in all of these cases, missionaries as missionaries, they also, of course, want to convert them. So, and because they see their Christianity, we won't get to it now, but of course the Armenians are following a monophysitic form of ancient Eastern Christianity, which is different, of course, from Catholic as well as from Protestant faiths. But the missionaries or on-the-ground help is there. There is a case where the US, in a very rare case, is trying to intervene during the Armenian massacres, sending, by the way, warships to the region, but mainly in order to help their own missionaries. So that's in general. Yeah. Thank you.
So I repeat the question: can we believe in outliers? Can exceptions be the law?
Well, I can try and be cheeky and say that this is to the history to judge, but usually no. I think that. So the interesting story is that, which is obviously hard to convey here and time and not getting overcomplicated, is that we see a growing mesh in between. So to some extent and on some levels, yes, the liberal side is getting more and more liberal, and we see the rise of illiberal states. But then we also see things that are in between. For instance, only 2 months ago, Democrat members of the Congress in the US proposed a law to increase the number of judges on the Supreme Court. So this is actually a practice that is court packing in the law jargon, which is considered to be an illiberal practice. But the Democrats are pushing for it because they want to tilt the balance back. So is that something that is kind of moving in between, mainstreaming a practice that was considered to be unaccepted? Yes, I think so. So yeah, I can't really think about a true exception that doesn't play to a law here.
Thank you very much. No further questions in the chat, but maybe here. Eli?
Here, I want to understand what is the main point of your thought and whether you can say that the conclusion is that globalization is not only operating towards more freedom and liberalism and democracy, but this globalization can work also of clubs of non-liberal and they Yeah, of course. I'll repeat the question. The question was,
Is globalization go one way into liberal, or do we see it camps? And what is the end of it? Or what, why do I bring it up? Yes, that's true. I think that the assumption was, especially in the 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of talk about economic globalization, but I'm coming from a cultural globalization perspective, that it's bringing or spreading liberal ideas. And it was true to some point. And I can actually even push it farther and say that the illiberal side were always there. Right? We see it with the conservative revolution in Germany, right? It was there. We see it with pushes in between liberalism and illiberalism, or enlightenment and the push against enlightenment were there. They were just more silent, I suppose. And what we see now, that yes, the same institutional structures that push towards the spread of liberal globalization is also working to spread those illiberal ideas. And I think that in the kind of perspective that we all gather here now in terms of resistance and violence or non-violence resistance, it's really showing that to an extent also those perspectives that are possibly very different or alien to us or to many who sit here are spread in a relatively peaceful way, even if we don't like it to think about it in this way, right? If we think about the push or the increase of human rights, of all the positive ideas that we believe in, that became the common ground in the world, now we see a similar trend. It's also expanding, even if we debate about it. Is it non-peaceful? It's very hard for me to judge, and it definitely pushes us to think a bit more critical about it. But yeah, that's the really kind of the point of the argument. Thank you.
Thank you. The question? Yeah, my question was very similar because I want to understand this. I use the word resistance in implementation, so I definitely curious.
Yeah, the title. Exactly. Yeah, because I can't take it to the normative term. I try to characterize. There was for a long time people in my tradition in political neo-institutionalism were criticized for presenting a normative argument. Right? We see the increase of something, and this is good. We want to have more education. We want to have more democracy, and it was a descriptive. And we're trying to understand the structure, what helped this descriptive trend that we see. And now the attention is drawing to something else. And this is also why, so it's really in the inherent in our world right now. So, first of all, do we want to resist something that is global? Even if we disagree with it. So it's different. And I think that putting on the resistance is vital. It's kind of, yes, obviously there is room to optimistic and action, but it's we should at least be aware of the trend. I think.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry, we have to close the discussion, but we have a coffee break now, 15 minutes, and you have the speakers between you, so you always can use your chance to continue the discussion. Thank you, everybody, for this wonderful session, and I wish you a nice coffee break now outside.